Impressionism is an art movement that began in 1870 and ran through 1880 in France. Impressionists' purpose was to capture a momentary slice of life, experiment with the effects of light on color, limit the use of black to almost none, juxtapose complementary colors, create compositions with cropped edges and unusual angles, and create quick, expressive lines. For this tutorial, we are going to use acrylic paint on primed canvas paper. Claude Monet was the founder of French Impressionist painting, creating many plein air, or French for open air, landscape paintings. Oil paintings were his usual medium. Please refer to the Adobe Sparks presentation for more information.
We're going to start with a color ground. A color ground is simply a flat color painted over the white canvas. By doing this, you give yourself a better judge of the colors that you're painting and the ability to create much better tones since you're not competing with the bright white. White should be used for highlights and pops of color in small sections, not overwhelming your artwork. Now that my color ground is dry, I've drawn in my object. For this acrylic painting, I am using a green squash for my subject matter. To begin, I started with a purple dioxide and a viridian green to create my deep shadows that push each section of the squash forward, giving it a three-dimensional shape. The further up the squash I go, the more green I become, adding white at times to increase the lightness, but always going back over it with another shade of green in order to push it back to the impressionistic style we're going for. The painting lines that I'm using remain full of expression, short and quick. One thing I really like about using this particular object is the neck of the squash tightens in a way that really allows me to play with that light of color in the way that I feel Monet was attempting to achieve. As I've said in all of these videos, any kind of art is a matter of layering, patience, and going back and forth to achieve the look you're going for. So I start dark, I add green, I might add white, and then I go back and darken again. Here I'm continuing to deepen those lines that create the bulges in the squash. I'm continuing to go up, and as I do so, I'm highlighting by using a brighter green, white, as well as some yellow in order to create the portion of the squash that sticks out most, giving it a round dimensional appearance. There's that nice yellow. Again, short, quick brush strokes. Notice the brush. I'm trying to create long dagger strokes, and so I have my brush angled sideways instead of straight up and down. Here I'm attempting to show you how I'm blending. Notice I'm using white, green, and 2 shades of yellow there. But all of them are mixed together without being blended together in order to give me a chunky color scheme in a impressionistic manner. Increasing my shadows on the sides and beginning to build that upper ridge on the squash. To achieve a bright, intense highlight on the base of my bulging section of my squash, I'm going in with a green tinted yellow as well as some white, always keeping expressive lines. Coming up to the stem, starting extremely dark and pulling in some mid-green tones for depth. Now for my cast shadow. Since I used a ochre background with touches of alizarin crimson, I thought it would be fun and a nice contrast to go in with a ultramarine blue and a dachshund purple. This will give me a natural dark tone and push my squash further without taking away from the image itself.